All right. What a motherfucking weekend. I think we do have to get this out of the way now before we start talking about King Kenny and Faze Temperr. Yes, this event was poorly run on the night. Let me just say this because I think a lot of people are getting confused as to how these events go and who ultimately determines who wins and loses fights. Showstar did not rig a single one of these fights to my knowledge, and they, like any event organizer, doesn't really have any control over a commission picking a winner and loser by the judges who are employed by the commission, by the referee that's employed by the commission. Showstar just hires out an independent commission to come in and then make those decisions. There is, on the other hand, something that needs to be looked at with the PBA and Pro Boxing Association, who did sanction these events and did provide the judges that flat out got a lot of things wrong here. Also, I know people want me to come in here and just shit on Showstar or just to suck up to the entire event and be like, wow, it was so great and things went so well. I'm not going to do either of those things because yes, there were issues with how Showstar ran this event. The facts are the facts. The event wasn't run well. Issues with event security that allowed fans to really crowd the ring and kind of do whatever they wanted. Fans were so close to the ring that they could actually physically touch the ring canvas and were on their smartphones, not even inches away from the ropes. We had guys headbutting other individuals, but also they had a guy jump in the ring during the main event, and then you're talking about fighter safety at play because these guys have gloves on. If that guy had a weapon, it's over. A lot of things that went down here regarding the fans and the complete mishandling of that situation could have been rectified by Showstar. I am, of course, appreciative of the fact that I was able to be a part of this with Showstar, to be a part of the build-up, to be a part of every single thing they allowed me to be a part of. That doesn't mean I can't tell the truth about the event. If you think that you're going to come to my channel and you're going to see me say things that aren't true just to either protect some relationship that I have with a company that did some things wrong, that's not how it works here. I'm going to tell you the truth every single time, or at least I'm going to do my best to, and if things change, then I'll address that. But the most egregious thing, I think the one thing everyone held on to from this event was the judging of this King Kenny and Faze Temperr fight. So we're going to break it down, and I'm going to show you round by round who wins each round and ultimately who should have won this fight. So, King Kenny versus Faze Temperr, the judging fiasco or the rightful decision winner? Breakdown, let's go. All right, so this was probably already the most anticipated fight on the card. It had a bigger fight feel to it, and you could feel that in the arena. And the reason I bring that up is because I feel the crowd had such a major factor in the decision of this fight and just the feel of this fight for the judges in the arena. Just keep those two things in mind. We're gonna circle back when we talk about the decision. So round one, listen, Kenny starts this fight off, I thought, pretty well. He was doubling up his jab. We said here on this channel that King Kenny needed to work his way past the long reach of Temperr if he was going to have any success, right? And we didn't know how hard that was going to be. Turned out it was pretty fucking hard for him. When Kenny went to close distance, he was drifting away from that power hand of Temperr, which is good, but Temperr was doing a good job of resetting the action. Anytime Kenny decided he wanted to change an angle or jab his way into an angle change, Temperr would just use that lead foot, step in, turn, and all of a sudden the angle was again 50-50. That shows a bit of understanding with the ring generalship already because most guys, when they get pressured, want to go straight back. Temperr wasn't doing that. He continued to circle out and change the angle. And this happened a lot of times throughout the fight. Off Kenny's jab, you start to see Kenny fall into range a bit, and that's where you start to see Temperr take advantage of a guy that doesn't have the same reach and can't get into range and get out as quickly as Temperr can make him pay. You start to see Temperr land flurries that would be a staple of how he was going to approach this fight. Kenny coming into range, either overextending himself, which we did see a lot, or not following up his jab with anything to threaten Temperr, which again, we did see a lot. Kenny would jab his way in, but there was no right hand behind it to keep that pressure. Temperr off that forward movement would plant a foot in the ground and throw his straight left hand, right hook over the top, some uppercuts underneath. You have to give it to Temperr. We didn't know a lot about him before this fight, but we damn sure know a lot after. He's accurate. He's not afraid to come forward and counter shots, even when a guy is in mid-throw. And with that reach advantage, he's really, really hard to get away from if you're stuck in the in-between phase between getting into range and getting out. He will catch you there. So at the end of round one, again, it was pretty clear that Temperr had landed not only the cleaner shots, but he had landed more volume. This wasn't Kenny having a bad showing at all. It was just what we said in the pre-fight, that Kenny was going to have to work a lot harder to land shots and to get into range and to find his rhythm than Temperr was because of the reach advantage that Temperr had. So round two starts, and again, Kenny starts on his double jab. This would have been one of his more effective entrances had he followed up with the right hand more, and Temperr tries to come forward throwing big shots. but Kenny's not there. That's what you needed to see more of if you're a Kenny fan. We also saw what I was talking about with this crowd start to happen in the second round. Anytime Kenny came forward and threw more than one punch and they landed in some way to the body, to the arms, to the neck, to the chin in some cases, this crowd would erupt. Kenny comes forward, throws a lot of shots. He does land a few, goes to the top, then works the body down low with the right hand. And again, body work, very good stuff from Kenny. I thought that was something that a lot of guys didn't utilize, but Kenny did. He starts to come forward and the crowd starts to go wild, but when you watch this combination from Kenny, not a lot is landing. And on the other side, Temperr is keeping his eyes open. He's not here and covering up. He's looking to fire back, even going backward. And I thought this was, again, another moment in the fight that got looked over as, oh, Kenny's just coming forward, controlling distance, being aggressive, pressuring. But Temperr's landing more in this sequence. Watch him throw his straight left hand to the chin, steps back, jab, another straight left hand. The moment looked like it was Kenny's, but in actuality, it was Temperr's with the volume, with the accuracy, and on the back foot, landing on a guy that was a little bit out of control. It very well could influence the fact as a judge that you're sitting there watching this big moment happen, and if you didn't catch the fact that Kenny maybe wasn't landing as cleanly as it looked, it might look like Kenny is overwhelming Temperr in that moment. I do give this round to Temperr. I thought it was a better round for Kenny, but I think Temperr, again, landed the more impactful shots, landed cleaner, even though the crowd was going crazy. Fortunately, the shots weren't landing as much as you'd like to see, and it was more of Kenny just trying to put that pressure on Temperr and paying for it. Round 3, I thought was, again, a close round, and you're starting to see, again, Kenny gain some confidence in letting his right hand go. It was such a key thing for Kenny to be able to get some respect with that right hand, and it was a little late to start it, but it was good that he did, because it made Temperr have to change at least a little bit, right? It wasn't just Temperr controlling the counter left hands every single time Kenny threw. Kenny started to get some respect with that right hand, but Temperr does finish this round very, very strong with good combinations again. He throws a lead hand uppercut between the guards, splits it, and then throws his straight left down the pipe. Both those catch Kenny, and I thought it was the punctuation on a close round between both that I gave to Temperr. And then we get to round 4, which I thought was Kenny's most successful round of the night. And this is what solidified Kenny as a guy, in my opinion, that can really, really take off in this YouTube boxing scene, because things weren't going his way for those first 3 rounds. And you come into this 4th round and you could easily pack it in and say, you know what, I'm done. This is not working. He's doing everything to counter what I'm doing. I can't get to the spots I want to get to. I don't know if it was desperation and the fact that he maybe thought he was down on the cards, or the fact that he just finally started to relax and let his hands go. Because not only do you see Kenny start to slip jabs and roll under jabs and pop his jab back, but behind that jab, finally we see, boom, the right hands to the body. And not only that, he doesn't stop. Left hook upstairs, right hook over the top, and he got a reaction. Temperr immediately goes to the high guard, which he should, but what I'm saying is that was the respect in that right hand that Kenny needed to implement earlier in the fight. He gets to Temperr safely, but not only that, he continues to fire, right? It wasn't just the initial success that Kenny relied on here, it was the follow-ups. That is what made the difference in these flurries from Kenny. This is Kenny's round. I thought he took it pretty clearly. Let's go to the 5th. Round 5 was obviously very important for Kenny. If he wins this round, you can make it arguable, right? You can make this understandable if they wanted to go one way or another, and people would still complain, and I understand that, but he had to convincingly win round 5 to make this even arguable, in my opinion. So round 5 starts, and again, Kenny does land a nice double jab, and he starts to look at Temperr and call him on. You can see that confidence in Kenny rising. You just saw a little bit of that tide turning where Kenny was starting to kind of figure out the big man and find ways to get Temperr to be a little reckless and come after him and do things that he wasn't doing in rounds 1 through 3 and even parts of 4. But this is where, in my opinion, Temperr won this fight, was in this 5th round where he could have gotten more reckless and could have gave away this round. Instead, in a kind of back and forth round, Faze Temperr, with about 20 seconds in this fight, separated himself. I tell you guys all the time how important it is to end rounds on a good note. Instead of continuing to chase Kenny, he plants those feet in the center of the ring, and again, one of those patented 4 or 5 punch combos down the pipe, right hand over the top, another straight left hand. They separate, he comes after Kenny again, jab, double jab, where he kind of touches Kenny on the temple, and he finishes the fight with another 3-punch combo as the horn sounds. That took the round, in my opinion, for Temperr, because again, Kenny had moments, but Temperr had bigger ones, and that was the difference, in my opinion, in this round and in the fight in general. But Kenny still had a great showing. I think he is going to be a guy that really excels in this YouTube boxing scene, but at the end of the day, Temperr won this fight. And then we get to the judging. Now, not only did the judges get this wrong, in my opinion, but the judging itself made damn near no sense at all, because we had a 49-46 judge in favor of Kenny, which would have meant Kenny won 4 rounds to 1. Then we had 2 of the oddest scores you'll see in boxing, where Temperr was awarded a 49-47, which would have meant there was 1 round where both guys had a 10 score, awarded to both guys because they can't determine a winner of a round, which I didn't think any round was that hard to determine a winner of. But regardless, Temperr gets the 49-47, and then you have a score of 49-48 in favor of Kenny. This is the deciding score. One of the judges would have had to have claimed here, and I would have loved to have seen how he claimed this shit, that both guys had 2 10-10 rounds. I didn't see that in any round where it could have been determined to be a 10-10. Both guys split the round evenly. You rarely see 1 in a fight that goes 10-10, let alone 2 in a 5-round fight. These judging scorecards made little to no sense. Now put that on hold. Again, I told you there were 2 things we were going to circle back to when we talked about this fight, and that was that this was in the UK, that the crowd was basically the most disorganized crowd there was. And again, this is just one source told me that the fans were so close to the ring, that they were so close to the judges, that fans were physically able to touch the judges, not necessarily like poking them on the back and saying, hey, so-and-so won this round, but have themselves that close with those voices as loud as they were. It would be hard for me to believe that that didn't influence things at least a little bit. And I hate this because both guys worked their tails off. It's not Kenny's fault, by the way. Anybody going and giving hate to Kenny, that guy just fucking showed up to fight. He fought. The judges said he won, so he celebrated like he won. I don't know where in people's minds they start to believe because a guy celebrated that he won a fight, that it's all of a sudden his fault that he won. In that moment, it's really hard to differentiate how the rounds went because you're in the fucking ring fighting. So all the people that are going at Kenny and his team saying, oh, you guys are this or that, you shouldn't be accepting that win. I'm pretty sure Kenny came out with a video yesterday saying he's not accepting the win. So I don't know what you guys are on. You need to start looking at 2 people. Event organizers who couldn't get a crowd under control, and again, lost all control of the event, and you need to start putting your focus on the PBA, the Pro Boxing Association, that sanctioned this bout, that provided the judges, and had these judges with wild-ass cards like a 49-48. It's flat out wrong, and Temperr did get this taken from him. Also, as of this video, there has been an update from Faze Clan, and I think from the PBA as well, that they are going to take a look at this, that there is a review process happening, so that just was announced as I'm editing this. Fair play. We're going to see what happens. They said they're going to take a look at it. They're going to review it, and hopefully the right decision is made. But big ups to Kenny for saying, listen, I'm not taking that win. Let's rematch it so I can prove it. And massive ups to Temperr for going into the UK in enemy territory, kids trolling him all week, and coming out with that kind of performance. So yeah, again, this was a close fight that I just thought at the end of the day, Temperr did enough in rounds 3 and 5 to make sure that he came out with his victory. You could say it was 3-2, and I would understand that. I'm sticking with 4-1, the slight edge to Temperr in round 3 and number 5 as well. But again, closer than a lot of people are saying. No one was blown out here. Both guys had a great performance. It's just the way the fight went. But those are my thoughts. You guys let me know down below. What'd you think of this fight? Who'd you have winning? Where am I wrong? Where am I right? And who do you guys want to see these 2 fight in the future? I've heard Slim calling out Kenny. I've heard him calling out Temperr. I think either of those fights would be fun with Slim. But if you want to see the rematch, I'd be down for it too. You guys let me know. The questions we have as we leave off: what the hell happened with this event? How did it go downhill so fast? And who's going to save the YouTube boxing scene? Because we need our Clark Kent. We need the glasses tossed off and someone ripping open the suit. I feel like I know who it is. I don't have the answer just yet, but very soon, I guess we'll find out.